Hey everybody, welcome to this very important episode of Corn Culture. I'm sitting here on a beautiful day. I've got this Diet Coke here with Santa's face on it. If you're watching the video right now, you can see Santa's face. A bit of trivia for you while I'm on the topic of Diet Coke as I take a sip of my aspartame. So, I heard this trivia question the other day. What was the first business to ever use Santa Claus in their marketing? And I guessed it right because we all know it's Coca-Cola. You know, you see that, you can picture that vintage advertisement of Santa holding the Coca-Cola. Now, I don't drink regular cola typically. I drink Diet Coke. But also, one more bonus trivia question I wanted to mention. That's this. The flavor of Coca-Cola. Why did I never know this? Let me double check this. I never knew this, that it actually has an assigned flavor. And it is vanilla, cinnamon, and citrus with a hint of caramel and nutmeg. Apparently. So that's the flavor of Coca-Cola, if you ever wondered. If you ever wondered how to describe it. But I just want to share that with you. But on to the important stuff here, as I sip on my Diet Coke. I'm not sponsored or anything, but maybe someday. And that is, how do we get our new year started off right? It's almost time for the new year. And what do we got to do to get it off to a great start? I wanted to give a recommendation, and that is to read at least part, any of you can, of the number one bestseller of all time, and that's the Bible. So here's what I wanted to give you. I want to give you 3 books that I find kind of interesting, practical, kind of fun to read, just to dip your toes in, whether you're a level 1 or a level 17, 18, 19 level Christian or Catholic. There's no such thing as that, for the record. But I want to give you 3 books you should check out, 3 books of the Bible. Okay, first one, James. James, half-brother of Jesus, towards the end of the Bible. So if you're flipping through, not a super long book. There's lots of good verses in there. James 1:2, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Or James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all those without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So much more. But probably my favorite portion, it's got some really practical advice. I think, let me double check here. I think it's James, chapter 3. Okay. I think we should all take a moment and flip to chapter 3. It's very important. Here's how it starts off. Dear brothers and sisters, not many of you should become teachers in the church, for we who teach will be judged more strictly. Indeed, we all make many mistakes, for if we could control our tongues, we would be perfect and could also control ourselves in the other way. But here comes my favorite part, and I'll paraphrase it. Well, no, I'll just read it verbatim. This is probably one of the most applicable portions of the Bible to your life. For anyone, whether you're a Christian or not, whether you're not religious, you don't have a faith, listen to this. We can make a large horse go wherever we want by the means of a small bit in its mouth. And a small rudder makes a huge ship turn wherever the pilot chooses to go, even though the winds are strong. In the same way, the tongue is a small thing that makes grand speeches, but a tiny spark can set a great forest on fire. And among all the parts of the body, the tongue is a flame of fire. It is the whole world of wickedness corrupting your entire body. It can set your whole life on fire, for it is set on fire by hell itself. I think that portion's super interesting. To paraphrase, in the same way a small rudder controls a ship, a small flame starts an entire forest fire, a small bit controls a huge animal, a horse. In the same way, why are we so controlled by our tongues? What we say, or in today's day and age, what we type on the internet is just, it was very surprising. I mean, a lot of people will say things and maybe someday they come to regret it, but especially, I think this is an interesting part because this is a lesson that's applicable, in my opinion, even more so in today's day and age when we type and we have social media and stuff, and it's like that stuff doesn't go away. So please be careful what you type. But anyway, James goes on, and it's the same thing. You know, people can tame all kinds of animals, but no one can tame the tongue. So remember, control your tongue. Be careful what you say. There's a great analogy where you say something hurtful to someone, it's like putting a nail in a board. And you can apologize and you can remove the nail, but the hole's still there. People will, they'll probably forget exactly what you said. They'll forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Very important thing. Second book I want to give a shout out to. So that's the book of James. Remember, check it out towards the end. Not a very long book. Easy. Take you 30 minutes to read or less. It's really easy. Probably less than that, honestly. Really good, really applicable. I'd recommend it. Second one, classic. Can't go without it. Gospel of John. Remember, the disciple whom Jesus loved. Or so John tells us, but I'll take his word for it. Sorry, this Diet Coke is making me burp, so let me drink some more. Gospel of John. Very good. You know the classics, right? You know they're the heavy hitters. I mean, these are in like the Hall of Fame verses of all time. Chapter 1, remember how it starts off? In the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. Say what? Yeah, look into that. Very good. Chapter 2, the wedding at Cana. Jesus' first public miracle. Hey, Jesus' first miracle is turning water into wine. Wink. I'm just saying. Jesus likes to party. That's the bottom thing. No, in all reality though, like Jesus does like to party in a sense. He likes to be around people. He tries to bring people in. It's an important lesson to learn. So don't forget that. Of course, chapter 3, our guy Jesus, he's on the rooftop meeting Nicodemus, a Pharisee and a member of the Sanhedrin, which is the equivalent of the Jewish Supreme Court. And remember, do you guys remember what Nicodemus says? He's like, Rabbi, teacher, how do we know the way to heaven? And Jesus looks at him and says, you have to be born again. Nicodemus is like, whoa, this guy really is crazy. No, seriously, you have to be born of the water and of the Spirit, okay? Because Nicodemus was protesting. I can't go back in my mother's womb, obviously. But anyway, he goes on to say, don't forget the go-to verse, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal or everlasting life. God did not send his Son to condemn the world, but to save it through him. That's a great one. It goes on and on. Gospel of John, you got to read it. It's very interesting. You get to see a lot of Jesus' life. You get to see the divinity of Christ. You also get another good verse. Remember chapter 14, verse 6? The disciples sitting around like, how do we know the way? And Jesus responds very simply, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. So John, very good book. Read it. It's very intriguing. If you want to know more about Jesus' divinity, highly recommend the Gospel of John. But read all the Gospels if you want. Just keep reading. But I'd recommend that one. If you have to, let's see here. If you have to choose one, start with that one. It's pretty good. If you had to choose a couple books. Last one, coming at you, Book of Daniel. Wait, what? Tanner, you say Old Testament? Yeah, I'm pulling the Old Testament, you guys. I recommend the Book of Daniel. It's very good stories. Like, it's very, if you want to just read it and be like engaged, super interesting stories about how Daniel and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, formerly Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, they get sent to Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar, not a nice guy. Book of Daniel is super good. It has some eschatology. If you don't know what that is, study the end times. It has some in there. If you're interested in the end times, definitely check out the Book of Daniel. It's some prophecy in there. And then, but it's got great stories. Remember, you got Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They're thrown in the fiery furnace. They look over, 4th person in there, Christophany. Jesus, perhaps. Someone was in there. Maybe Jesus, maybe the angel of the Lord is in there to save them, and they survive the fiery furnace. That's great. Don't forget about Daniel in the lion's den. Great story. You have the story of the writing on the wall. That's where that phrase comes from in the book of Daniel as well. A lot of dreams being interpreted rather. So that book's also very good. It's, again, just a wink to what's to come. And when you read these verses, so when you read these books, you got to remember this stuff is all interconnected. So, yeah, you get to kind of read and make connections and stuff, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty good to read. It makes it a lot more engaging when you can look at it through that lens. So start with those 3 books, or start with any books. There's other good ones as well, but if you want a good variety, I gave you some with practical advice. I gave you a really good gospel, and I gave you some Old Testament stuff. So go ahead and read those. It'll be good. It'll get your 2026 started off to a great time. So you can sit down with you and your family, drink some Diet Coke, Hope I get sponsored by them someday. Maybe. And so you'll like it. I really think you guys will be engaged. Just give it a shot. Give it a read. I hope you enjoy those books. But those are my recommendations to get started off. So I hope you guys have a great start to your year. I hope you ramp up. I hope you hold your family close and you grow closer to Christ each and every day. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And never give up. And never give in. Have a great day. Godspeed.